All right, so we'll go ahead and get started. Thank you again for joining me tonight as we're just a few days out from what I know will be a very exciting band day. My name is Elliot Tackett, and then I'm the director of bands, excuse me, and the director of the Cavalier Marching Band. You've likely received a few emails from me leading up to this week. So tonight we're going to cover some staff introductions, some important topics for you to discuss with your marcher before they arrive, what to bring to band day, the check-in, check-out process, and we'll go over the schedule chronologically. I'll also go over the post-game shuttle plan for students and for parents, family members, and take your questions at the end of tonight's presentation. So please save your questions for the end of our time together. First, I'd like to introduce you to my team that has been working over the last few months to ensure that your marcher has an incredible UVA band experience. Caitlin Roop is our fiscal assistant and special events coordinator and has been working around the clock to process your registrations and your payments, as well as answer your questions via email. Drew Cook, one of the band directors, will have a limited presence this Saturday due to a scheduled surgery on Friday, but you'll hear him as the voice of the CMB at the stadium. And then Mike Idzior and Brandon West, two of our other band directors, will have a very strong presence throughout band day, both during rehearsal and during the game. If you have a color guard member or a twirler attending, Brandon Block, Spencer Feinart, and Victoria Proscia are our color guard and twirling coaches, respectively. Brandon came to us last year and actually works in the music department as a program manager. And then Victoria and Spencer are actually past twirlers with the Cavalier Marching Band. So we're really excited to have them back on our team in this role. On top of being strong, team members, our directors, staff, and coaches are also incredibly kind. So please say hello to them and thank them if you see them on Saturday. The directors, staff, and coaches oversee the halftime show materials preparation. Obviously, we as directors oversee the teaching as well. Registration, transportation, logistics, etc. We also hire chaperones to ensure that we have trained, background checked, trustworthy adults who directly oversee your marcher's safety. So we have two lead chaperones this year, Abby Macbeth and Marianne Sherling. Abby is a former UVA pep band member and current band mom, and Marianne is a CMB alum and former trumpet section leader. And I can guarantee you that your marcher is in excellent hands with them both as lead chaperones. We also have 8 chaperones who are adults, some of whom are recent graduates of our program, who have seen band day and our band day operations many times before. They know the flow of the events, they know the locations, they know what to expect, they know when the buses leave, they know when the buses are coming and going, how to get into section 104, all those great things. We also hire over 25 of our current CMB members to serve as band day chaperones, and they go through the exact same process of being background checked and trained through the Office of Youth Protection. So please talk to your marcher about looking around the band on band day for green hats. The green hats designate who is a chaperone and who can most quickly answer a question to help them. And of course, we choose green because no one else in the stadium on game day is really wearing green. It's not a UVA color, so it's really easy to find those green hats, and they'll be around section 104 or Cars Hill Field or the Aquatic Fitness Center, depending on the time of day. All right, there are a few other items that I strongly recommend that you talk to your marcher about before they come to UVA Band Day. Obviously, our number one concern is always going to be their safety, but that's followed closely by them having a truly unforgettable experience with the CMB. We want them to love their time at UVA. We want them to apply to UVA when they are looking at universities and thinking about the next chapter of their career, their development. And safety is a big part of their overall experience. So please talk to your marcher about always following our chaperone's instructions. That includes loading the buses in a quick and orderly way when we transport them from the band building area to the Aquatic Fitness Center before the game. That includes when our chaperones walk them from the Aquatic Fitness Center through the north gate of the stadium into section 104 by assigned row. It includes when our chaperones when the game is over and our chaperones are working to safely guide your students through quite literally tens of thousands of people who are leaving at the same time that they wait to depart the stadium with their chaperones. please talk to them about never going anywhere alone while they're at band day. Um, UVA, Charlottesville, very safe place, but it's always important that we all do our diligence, and it starts with them making sure that they're just never going anywhere alone. We provide band day students with bus transportation to and from the stadium. They cannot have a local friend from the Charlottesville area, a Charlottesville area high school stop by to visit them during band day. Of course, their friend could come watch rehearsal and wave, or shoot them a text and say, you guys are doing great, but they should never get in anyone's car. Once they are checked into our care, we take their safety very seriously, and no one can depart band day without going through our checkout procedure, which we'll cover later in this presentation. If you are someone who is following UVA football this year, or historically follows UVA football, we are very proud of the fact that we are having a particularly great year. We're currently 8-1, and this week we are at the top of the ACC standings. There's a lot of enthusiasm around the team, and the ticket office expects over 50,000 people to attend this weekend's game. So please talk to your marcher about what this might mean for them, especially if large crowds or overly stimulating environments can be stressful to them. If they have techniques that you talk to them about to employ when they're feeling anxious, or if it would be helpful for them to hear that again, that they can talk to a chaperone if they're feeling stressed. Please remind them that using those calming techniques or seeking out help from someone with a green hat is perfectly acceptable. We want to be a great resource for them if they aren't used to being in a large, energetic, loud crowd. And then obviously encourage them to be in the moment. It's really easy not only to be overstimulated, but to kind of narrow the focus, during those moments. Encourage them to soak it all in. Encourage them to get into being a part of an awesome game day experience. Encourage them to just have fun on the field when they're performing for 50,000 people. It can be really daunting, the idea of learning a 5.5 minute halftime show outside of rehearsal, and then very quickly trying to assimilate the drill and the choreography with the music. We're only going to run through it a couple of times after they've learned the drill, and then they go perform it, right? It's really easy to kind of lock out of focus all of those fun things as well, but just encourage them to have a great time on the field, because it's a really special place to be. Remind them that they can take the first step to make a new friend by simply introducing themselves to someone else. Also, please help them understand that band day will be a long day. From check-in to check-out at the end of the game will be almost 12 hours. That's with hundreds of notes played and quite literally thousands of steps taken. Encourage them to pace themselves physically and mentally. Now, the CMB, our students will teach them the halftime show efficiently, methodically, and all of our students are assigned a band day marcher to teach their drill to. So in those moments where they have questions, sometimes it can be a little frightening to think about asking someone who's several years older than you or seems well informed to ask them a question. But we have some of the nicest people that your marchers will ever meet in our band right now. So definitely encourage them to use our marchers as a resource. Okay, let's talk through packing your bags in the car. Be sure your marcher has their instrument. I know that seems obvious, but with everything else that you have going on, just double check and make sure that you have eyes on the instrument going into the car. When I also say bring your instrument, I mean all the things that go along with it. So woodwind players, their neck straps, their reeds, brasses, their mouthpieces. Brass players, by the way, do not need mutes. I think I and the other directors, marching band directors, probably all feel the same, that there are very few occasions on a marching band field when we would want to put a mute in their instrument, and band day is not one. If you have a color guard student, remind them to bring their flag. We do not use weapons. We don't use rifles or sabers, so leave those at home. The twirlers, if you have a twirler who's coming, just make sure that they have all of the batons that they need, 1 or 2 batons. Their drum harness and drum stand, if they are a drummer. And of course, outside of the drum line, the wind players, a way to hold their music, whether that be an old school flip folder like the one that the Cavalier Marching Band uses, or something that can affix to their instrument to hold their phone if they're reading music electronically. Speaking of drummers, if your marcher is a drummer, before you and they depart for band day, please use blue or green painter's tape to label their drum case, their drum stand, and their drum harness with their first and last name. Now, that's a lot of equipment. Some of it will be transported on a truck by us. Most of it will be transported on the buses by your marcher. But we strongly recommend that your marchers not only have obviously the drum harness and the drum itself, but a drum stand as well, because a football game is 3 hours long. It's a long time to be in a harness. We want to make sure that they're in good shape for quarter 4, just like they were in quarter 1. Please check the weather. I looked today. It's currently reported to be 73 degrees at 1 p.m. Partly cloudy, probably mostly sun, and 60 degrees at kickoff time. And then obviously with the sun going down, it's going to get chillier as the game progresses. So I would suggest that you pack a small tube of sunscreen, a hat, sunglasses, layers of clothing that your marcher can shed if they're sweating in rehearsal, but can use, and layer up if they're chilly during the third and the fourth quarter. Do please take note of this next point. Do not bring their high school band uniform to band day. While we do love the look of seeing 500 band members, 250 of ours, 250 of yours, in either CMB or high school uniforms, not only do we not have a private place for your marchers as minors to change into uniform, but our schedule quite literally doesn't allow for time to change. It really, really runs like clockwork. So instead, your marchers are encouraged to wear comfortable layers. Of course, there are great layers for sale at the UVA bookstore and online as well if you have time to stop by in the morning or if you already have some. If your marcher regularly takes prescription medication, please discuss with them a plan for them to self-administer their own medication while they are in our care. We as directors, our students, we do not collect or administer medication, and that includes over-the-counter medication. If you believe your marcher will need Tylenol, Advil, Benadryl, or any other over-the-counter medication, please pack that medication for them to bring with them. Before your marcher arrives to band day, you and they should go through the band day student resources Google folder. That is a mouthful. The band day student resources Google folder, which can be found by way of our band day webpage on our band website, as well as in our band day event guide. In that folder, you will find 4 subfolders that will include halftime show, music, choreography, drill charts, as well as stand tunes. So when the Cavalier Marching Band is not performing our pregame or halftime show, most likely, just like your student is used to, we are in the stands. We are playing between down 1, 2, 3, 4, offense and defense. And it's a very specific set of songs that we play. If your student is interested in being part of that, we have what we call our flip folder PDFs that are up there. Ask that you print those off and bring those with your student. I'll also mention that the CMB does not use Ultimate Drill Book. Many of you who have marchers who are just finishing their high school marching season may be used to Ultimate Drill Book. We're a little more old school. We haven't quite caught up to that yet. Instead, we will teach your marcher their drill from drill charts. So go ahead and print out the 4-page drill chart PDF. In the title, it mentions pages 8, 11, 16, and 20. Your marcher should also find their drill number in the Google Sheet titled 2025 Band-Aid Drill Assignments. That document not only lists your marcher's drill number, and gives them that number to reference on the drill chart PDF. But on that same Google Sheet, they'll also be able to find the name of the CMB section member who's assigned to help them. We'll call them their drill buddies, their CMB drill buddies, but they'll have a chance to meet their CMB drill buddies at the very beginning of rehearsal that starts at 1 p.m. All color guard and twirler halftime show choreography and all halftime show music should be learned before arriving to band day. So the secret sauce of band day is having your marcher prepare their halftime show music and choreography ahead of time, run through the music and choreography with the CMB for comfort and kind of putting finishing touches on things. And then we teach them the drill transitions they need to learn and it comes together perfectly. Now, we have no expectation that your marchers memorize the music. Obviously, color guard and twirlers will need to memorize the choreography, but the great news with the choreography that we had our captains design is that it's repetitive. So once they've learned a 64 count structure, there's almost like an A or B section of choreography that they alternate back and forth between. But the better they know the music and choreography when they show up, the more fun they will have at band day, the less stressed they will feel as they arrive. Let's talk about what the CMB provides, because obviously this is a very long day, and we're going to need to take care of their hydration. We're going to need to take care of making sure that they have enough to eat and be fueled for a great day. So we provide your marcher with the same great game day experience that our CMB has, and part of that comes down to calories and hydration. We provide iced water and paper cups during the afternoon rehearsal. We will feed your marcher a boxed meal after rehearsal. We provide canned water, bottled Gatorade, fresh apples, and vegan protein cookies during the game. We'll make sure that earplugs are available to your marcher while they are in the stadium. By the way, it is strongly recommended that your marchers wear ear protection in section 104. The Cavalier Marching Band, 250 people, is very loud. Double that, and add all the enthusiasm of a 9th through 12th grader, it's quite literally going to be 100 plus decibels. They really, really should wear those earplugs. Just encourage them not to succumb to peer pressure to not wear them. They're welcome to also wear the UVA Band Day shirt that we provide them. They can wear it in rehearsal, they can wear it during the performance, or if they feel like they'd rather save it in their backpack and just take it home with them, that's okay too. We will also bus your marcher to and from the stadium before and after the game. So speaking of transportation, new this year for UVA Band Day, we are specifically offering parents and family members shuttle transportation at the end of the game from the Slaughter Recreation Center back to the Culbreth parking garage. Next to the Culbreth parking garage and the band building is a large grassy area where you will check your marcher out after band day concludes. Now, I want to highlight two things. The first is that we are unfortunately unable to provide parents and family members a shuttle to the game, and that's simply because our schedule is very tight. Traffic is very congested, and even once traffic clears, there's foot traffic, and obviously we have to make sure that pedestrians safely cross the street. It slows our buses down. And having designed the busing schedule quite literally from 5:05 until 6 p.m., our buses will be lapping constantly to move your students, to move our Wahoo Walk performers, and then move the Cavalier Marching Band. Also, just want to jump back here. Having seen 50,000 people empty out of the stadium at the end of the games recently, we do think that you will appreciate having the shuttles to get you out of the area as quickly as possible. And we'll all avoid the chaos of handling checkout in a high foot traffic area like the stadium. So just to underscore that point, when there are 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter, we will stop offering checkout in section 104, and all checkout will move over to the Hunter Smith Band Building, or what we affectionately refer to as the Husbaba. But what that's going to mean is that parents will be able to take and family members will be able to take the shuttle directly from Slaughter back to the band building. You may see your marcher being walked by one of our chaperones, and it may make sense at that point to say, hey, Jimmy Smith, come with me, let's get in the car. We can't do that. And we can't do that because we're not equipped to handle checkout at the AFC. The AFC is closed to the public. And we can actually get you and your marchers out of that area faster if we just all regroup back at the band building. More on that information later. Let's talk about how we get you into the game. There are likely a few tickets that remain available for purchase through the athletics box office. Please use this link, which is also available on our Band Day webpage, which automatically applies the Band Day parent and family discount at the checkout. This year, we added some additional resources for you. Our UVA Band's YouTube channel has a video playlist that features walkthroughs of key band day moments to help you or your marcher visualize those parts of the day. So if you have any questions about how in-person or mobile checkout works, about how we transport your marcher to the stadium, how they enter the stadium, or how you can find a shuttle after the game, check out the Band Day playlist. The mobile check-in and in-person check-in videos start the exact same way, the ones that I had mentioned that are available through the playlist, with how to get to the Hunter Smith Band Building and the Culbreth parking garage. So I believe I'll be able to have a pointer here. Hopefully you can see my mouse. So as you are driving along US 29, once you're driving toward grounds, it becomes Emmett Street if you're approaching from the north. And then you'll take a left on University Avenue and then another left on this little street right here called Culbreth Road. This green patch right here is Cars Hill Field. It has it's a pretty obvious field. You will see it as you are making that left-hand turn. This is where the Cavalier Marching Band and your marchers will rehearse during band day. Once you pull in and turn left on Culbreth Road, you'll go up the hill a little bit, and then you'll get to this stop sign right here. And then at that point, you have two options. Let me just close this down. So if you want to check in on Cars Hill Field, which is what we call in-person check-in, you'll turn left into the parking garage at that stop sign. Our CMB members will point you in the right direction down to levels A and B, and then once those fill up, they'll send you up to levels E and F. Very important. If you are a drumline or tuba parent, your students and you should absolutely use this option, option 1. Alternatively, we offer mobile check-in. Let's say that you aren't wishing to park and just want to drop off your student. You have the option to forego the parking garage entirely. What you'll do is at that three-way stop at the garage, you'll kind of veer right. We do shut down all of Culbreth Road for check-in. So follow our CMB members' directions. They'll have you pull into the left lane, which would be oncoming traffic, but into the left lane, and you'll meet one of our mobile check-in teams along the sidewalk closer to the Hunter Smith Band Building. Your marcher will need to quickly unload their belongings from your vehicle and then walk to Cars Hill Field with their equipment. You will then continue on Culbreth up to Rugby Road. So again, option 1, if you plan to park and check in person, if you're driving southwest on Emmett Street or US 29, turn left on University Avenue, turn left on Culbreth Road, and then turn left into the Culbreth parking garage. If you are planning to do mobile check-in, again, you'll turn left onto University Avenue, left on Culbreth Road, continue through the three-way stop, enter the left lane, check in with one of our mobile check-in teams. And then while you are finalizing check-in with the team, we have a student who will be able to help your student unload. Your student will then need to carry their personal items down the sidewalk toward Cars Hill Field, descend the stairs, and they'll be at the field. Okay, at the end of your Marchers Band Day, you have two checkout options. The first is to check out in the grassy area next to the band building after the game. After your shuttle drops you off, find one of our chaperones. Again, look for the green hats, and they'll assist you with the checkout process, which we'll cover in just a moment. The second option is to check them out in section 104 during the game's second half. So as soon as halftime show is concluded, we basically have everybody, your marchers, our marchers, march toward the visitor sideline, and then we split them in half. If they are hillside end zone to the 50, they go up into section 104 by way of our stairs. Otherwise, if they are tunnel side to the 50, there's a slightly longer walk, but once they all reconvene in section 104, if you know that you have a long drive, like let's say you're heading back to like Norfolk area or Southwest Virginia, or maybe even Nova, and you want to get a head start on that, we totally understand with the 7 p.m. kickoff time. We will be able to check your marcher out in rows RR and SS. Again, that's from the start of the third quarter, once the marchers have all kind of regrouped, until 5 minutes are left in the fourth quarter on the game clock. Once we get to that 5-minute mark, unfortunately, we need to shut down all of the Section 104 checkout process because we need to prepare for a very large scale departure back to the AFC for your students to pack up, get their personal items, for drums and tubas to also case up in the loading dock, and then eventually transport your students safely back to the band building where you'll be waiting for them in that grassy patch. Please do note again that parents are not allowed to enter the AFC as it's closed to the public. They will meet you outside of the AFC lobby if you've chosen to check them out early. Like let's say somewhere in the third quarter, you said you've texted with your child, and the plan is for you to check them out in rows RR. That's great. We'll go through the checkout process in just a moment. But let's say you've checked them out. What we'll do is we'll try to batch a few students so we can have one chaperone, and we'll say like 5 or 6 band day marchers be walked back to the AFC to get their personal belongings out of the gym, and then you can meet them just outside of the AFC lobby, and then you can all walk to Slaughter together. It's a very short walk, and jump on one of those shuttle buses and go back to the Culbreth parking garage. All right, the checkout process. It's easy, and everyone who is checked in is required to go through the exact same checkout process. The one exception is if your marcher's Qualtrics registration includes permission for them to check themselves out. In Qualtrics, we provided you a space, and I recognize that some of you did this, weeks ago. So it may not be top of mind, but we provided you space to list up to 3 authorized individuals who are permitted to check out your marcher. So one of those authorized individuals, whether it's you or a significant other or aunt, uncle, should bring their photo ID with them to the checkout process and present it to one of our chaperones. Our chaperones will cross-reference their ID with our authorized individual information and then collect a signature from you or that authorized individual. At that point, your marcher is checked out of our care and they're checked back into yours. If you stated that your marcher can check themselves out, they should still come and find a chaperone at the end of the day and literally check themselves out by signing themselves out before they depart. All right, thanks so much for hanging with me through that. Let's talk through the schedule chronologically. This is the last thing that we're doing. All right. Check-in starts at 11:15 in the morning and runs until 12:45 p.m. So plenty of time to arrive in Charlottesville. Go to Bodo's, get a bagel. It's a Charlottesville thing. You will love it. And then join us either on Culbreth Road or on Cars Hill Field at 11:15. If you didn't have a chance to go to Bodo's, drop your marcher off. You can go enjoy lunch in Charlottesville and then come back during rehearsal, park in the Culbreth parking garage, and watch rehearsal from what we call the Hill. It's amazing to see so many band members on the field at once, and it's really special to see, all the controlled chaos of 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock just kind of blossom into this thing that we call a halftime show by 3:45. We'll mark your march. So let me back up. Whether you check in on the field or use mobile check-in, the process is essentially the same. We'll mark your marcher present. We'll cross-reference records for any registration payments that must be collected. And then our section welcome teams will quite literally welcome your marcher. They'll say, hey, you have a flute. I'm a flute player. Come on over here. Let's get you involved. And they'll ask them where they're from and what they like, what they're excited about, what they're nervous about. We truly have some of the kindest, nicest students in the band that you'll ever meet. And I think your marcher will feel like there's a place for them very quickly. Rehearsal will begin promptly at 1 p.m. Looking at the slide here, it says 1 to 3:45. This looks like a long rehearsal, but trust me, the time will go by very quickly as we have a lot to do. Your marchers will meet their CMB drill buddy. They'll warm up with the CMB. We'll run through the halftime show music and choreography in music arcs and choreography blocks. All of our CMB members on Friday night, which is 48 hours from now, will learn your marcher's drill so that when your marcher shows up on Saturday, our students quite literally can teach your students. It's almost a one-to-one assignment. So your student will learn their first drill page, which is page 8. I know that sounds weird. Usually shows start on page 1, but trust us on this. Then they will have 3 transitions that they have to learn. So 3 places to go once they're on the field. Then we'll practice the music and the drill together. One of the last things they will learn is how they'll run through the home tunnel to their first drill page, which is page 8, which is led by our chaperones. So quite literally, you'll hear Dr. Cook announce, please put your hands together for 250 band day attendees as they run through the tunnels, and 50,000 people will go bonkers for your students. And then our chaperones will lead them out of the tunnel while our drums are playing like a really fast cadence. It's really exciting. But then finally in rehearsal, we'll run the entire show together. So like I said, there's a lot to do, but we've gone through this process each year and it works out well. Next, we have a meal on Arts Grounds lawn. During this time, 3:45 to 4:40, not only do we want to make sure that your students get fed, but there are some logistical things that just have to happen during this time. Tubas and drums should load their instruments into our band day marcher truck, and then they are transported to the AFC loading dock area. And when I say they, I mean the equipment, not your marchers. Marchers should pack up all remaining instruments and personal items. Drummers should keep with them their harnesses, should keep with them their drum stands. They'll take those on the buses. And then all of that personal equipment will be carried by your marcher up to the band building lawn, which is the exact same place where you will check them out at the end of the day. Once their equipment is on the lawn, they can just put it down in an organized fashion, saxophones together, piccolos together, etc. This is where they'll temporarily store their belongings during the meal on Arts Grounds lawn. And when I say Arts Grounds lawn, it's not like they have to, pull up Google Maps and look for this place that's really far away. It's literally across the street from where they're dropping off their equipment. At 4:40, we will have 12 buses arrive on Culbreth Road, and then there's about a 20-minute period from 4:40 until those buses depart, where we want to help your marchers get organized, find the correct buses, and we're going to go over that information next. But this is a moment where we need your marchers to be following chaperone instructions carefully. So on this slide here, you can see 2 different times, 5:05, 5:15. The buses depart in 2 waves, 10 minutes apart. If we as band directors had our druthers and we could schedule the departure times in terms of what is most helpful to us, we would have them leave earlier. Here's the problem. The football team's Wahoo Walk, where the entire football team drops off at the stadium, is at 4:50 p.m. So we quite literally are waiting as long as we can, and then by the time that last football team bus has departed that stadium area, we're going to be sending our buses upstream to drop off buses 1 through 6, and then 10 minutes later we'll send buses 7 through 12. As you can see here, drumline is split between 2 buses because they also need to carry their drum stand and drum harness with them on the bus, and that equipment takes up more space. You'll also see that trumpets and piccolos are also split between 2 buses. Again, these are school buses. These are not 56-person, charter buses. Space is at a premium. They're assigned a bus based on their section, but we don't get so granular as to assign them by name. So they don't have to worry about a certain seat number or anything like that. Just if you're a trombone player, you're on bus 4. If you're a clarinet player, you're on bus 11. But at 4:40 p.m., your marcher should return from lunch, wherever they were hanging out with C&B students in Arts Grounds, having lunch and learning about other people who are there. They should return to their instrument and personal items that are stored on the grass near the band building, where our chaperones will organize them by section to board their bus. Right, again, your marchers should bring all their personal items and instruments except for tubas and drums, the instruments themselves, onto the bus when they depart Culbreth Road. Now, it's a short drive to the Aquatic Fitness Center, what we call the AFC, where they will enter the main gym to store their cases and personal items during the game. There will be a very short transition period where Everybody is dropping off their backpacks, or if they don't want to take a coat in with them, dropping off personal items, and then uncasing their instrument and getting ready to go into the stadium. So from about 5:40 till 6:30, we set this time aside to safely and systematically move your students from the AFC into the gym. But between your marchers and the CMB, there will be about 500 band members in Section 104, which we're really excited about. So because of that, we pre-assigned the rows to ensure everyone fits in the section. And though it's very tight, it's a tight fit this year, we're confident in the plan. Mr. West has done an incredible job putting that together again this year. Back at the AFC gym, chaperones organize your students into rows and then escort the rows over one at a time through the north gate and into our section seating area, into section 104. Your marchers should only bring with them that which they need to perform, warm layers, their instrument, and any music that they need. Besides that, they can absolutely trust that their items that they leave behind in the AFC will be safe during the game. At about 6:40 p.m., they will see the CMB run through the tunnels and we will perform our 12-minute pregame show. It is very fast. It's very flashy. We're playing all of our traditional UVA songs, and we really hope that they enjoy it. It's one of the most exciting times of any game for our band members, and I think that your students will really enjoy their enthusiasm and their performance. We then take the entire second quarter to make sure we have time to walk your marchers by row back through the north gate around the stadium to prepare for their halftime performance. Our chaperones will help to organize them by their drill number, and will guide them into the home tunnel after the team has cleared the field at halftime. Obviously, we want to make sure that the Cavalier football team, the UVA football team, has a chance to get into their locker room. These are very, very big, athletes. We want to make sure that we're not crossing paths with them physically. Then your marchers, once they're loaded into the tunnels and halftime, the time has come for them to perform, they will do one of the most exciting things that any band member can do at UVA. They will run out of the home tunnel and onto Scott Stadium's field to perform for over 50,000 people who are cheering them on. It is a pinnacle moment of band day. It's always so exciting to see the marchers run through the tunnels and see their enthusiasm, and I really hope that your marchers will soak up the moment. And then all they have to do is put on a 500 band member halftime show together. Seems pretty easy to me. Once we get to the second half and we return to section 104, again, we'll have the option for you to check your student out, your marcher out. Again, that's in rows RR and SS. It's the very top of section 104. If you're looking at the field, it's all the way on the right. The checkout process is the same as what we already discussed. Photo ID, cross-reference with the information we have on file, collect your signature, and then technically your marcher is back in your safekeeping, but we will take care of escorting small groups of marchers back over to the AFC with one of our chaperones to get their personal items. After that, you can jump on a shuttle bus, go back to Culbreth, and have a safe drive home, wherever home might be. Again, the AFC is closed to parents, so you'll be able to meet them outside of the AFC lobby. I do want to mention that's at the corner of Alderman Road and Whitehead Road, which is the northeast corner of the stadium. And then the shuttle buses are available. I've been saying outside of the Slaughter Recreation Center, but technically that is the McCormick and Edgemont intersections. Post game, we're getting close here. So this is going to be somewhere between 10:15 and 11:30 p.m. With 5 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter, we'll close section 104 checkout to focus all of our resources on safely moving your marchers back to the Huzwaba. Parents and family members should exit the north gate, walk along Alderman Road, get to McCormick, turn left, and then our buses will be up on the left. Once the buses have dropped you as family members off at the Culbreth parking garage, you do not need to wait to check your child out, check your marcher out. Like, we don't have to see the whites of their eyes and the whites of your eyes to know that you're together. You can go ahead and check your marcher out as they are arriving on the buses. But I will mention this, if you look at the time, your marcher and you may have started, at 7 a.m. in the car or 8 a.m. You started check in at 11:15 in the morning, rehearsal for 2 hours and 45 minutes, and then it's literally been go, go, go all afternoon. I do ask you for patience at this point in the evening. There will be a significant amount of vehicular and foot traffic around the stadium, especially with the team doing so well. It literally has looked like waves of people that just won't stop. There's, just tons of people coming out of the stadium. We will have to move very slowly, very methodically to make sure that your marchers get back to the band building safely. While we, on the Cavalier Marching Band side of things, continue to do our normal post-game operations, moving all of our equipment, all of our instruments, all of our uniforms back to the Hunter Smith Band Building. So I want to thank you for joining me tonight to cover this important information about UVA Band Day. It's a really exciting time to visit UVA with the football team doing so well. And I hope that you and your marcher will have an incredible experience during our band day this weekend. So at this point, if you have any questions, please feel free to post them in the chat and I'll answer as many as I can. Otherwise, you're welcome to log off when it's best for you, and we'll see you in just a few days.